Hello and welcome. This is Jeff Hooks. It is my privilege to roll out the red carpet for all of you that are joining the VNI Partner Training for Saturday, October 5th. And I certainly want to welcome all of you that are listening to the replay. We're excited, and I'm excited that you're here. Got a lot of information I want to share, and I had some really interesting calls this morning that thank you, Mike Boston. I'm heading in the right direction, partner. Mike just texted me that he's celebrating my progress with my nutrition and exercise program. And of course, the foundation of that is nutrition that gets in, but it's all good. Thank you for noticing. Still got a ways to go, but I'm making progress. So, and that's what we always talk about. So I want to welcome all of you. Some of you, I know we've got some new partners that are brand new to the team I know one individual in the last several days. So I want to welcome all of you, and certainly some that I see in attendance that are new in the last several weeks. And so I want to welcome all of you. Our purpose for this training, you could say to yourself, why do we do essentially a fundamentals training? And they're not always the same. In fact, they're never exactly the same. But some of the key principles and fundamentals that we cover every Saturday are the same. And you might say, why do we do that every single Saturday instead of just recording, one or two trainings, which we do, and letting new partners and early stage partners that are just launching their business plug in and listen to the replay? Well, the reason is because it's the principles that we talk about, whether it's my voice, whether it's Ed and Gina's voice, whether it's many of the leaders, Cynthia Sauer, Mike Boston himself. We've got a number of leaders that that consistently lead our various events. In fact, this past Tuesday, our October monthly kickoff call, our featured leader and trainer was Mike Dannenberg, director leader Mike Dannenberg. So, and if you missed that, please go back. You can access it from your back office, and you can access it from your VNI Life app. But that information that we shared on a new promo that is going to last from October 1st. The email went out yesterday, but it's going to be from October 1st, the beginning, obviously, of this month, all the way through the end of the year. And some tremendous additional incentives and rewards on top of our lucrative compensation plan that you can tap into very, very easily over the next few months. And so I love some of our partners are using the promo, the new promo that we launched on the partner side to to set some goals for Christmas and holiday money. And the idea being that instead of, like I know I've done sometimes in my career, and I'm aware. Yep, I already sent happy birthday. I talked to Mike this morning, so it's Mike Dannenberg's birthday. So we want to wish Mike and Heather Dannenberg, obviously director leaders, as Ed and Gina just pointed out so appropriately. Today's Mike's birthday. So again, happy birthday, Mike, as we record this live. But the VNI Fall Pin Rank and Grow promo is a great way to set some goals, not just for the month of October, but through the end of the year, that can give you some additional cash to make your holiday season either less stressful or more enjoyable, or take some pressure off, or fill in, any of the above, or whatever is your inspiration. So anyway, make sure you listen to the call if you missed it from last Tuesday. In fact, I want to mention, this is important. I hope you all realize that in your partner, if you go to your replicated marketing website that all of our authorized partners have, and if you log into your back office, there's a calendar. And so that calendar, if you'll see, it has, last Tuesday, our October monthly kickoff call. It has Thursday evenings, product and business overview. It has this training. This coming Monday is our monthly product call with Bill Downs and Steve Kushner, and yours truly will be hosting. That's always one of a very, very popular call, very, very high energy call with a lot of great information. We're going to have a little bit different format this coming Monday night at 9:00. We're going to have an open Q&A. So make sure, when I say open, we've already had let me say that better. All right, we've had multiple emails that come either to me, customer care, many of them to Bill, some of them to Steve, some of them through Ed and Gina, and some of them through other leaders. What we did this past week is we looked at all the different questions that were product related, science related, et cetera. And Bill and Steve have handpicked, a handful, several of those questions, and are going to be covering those questions on the monthly product call Monday night at 9:00. So I think it's a little bit different flavor, and I think y'all are going to get a lot out of it. So make sure you spread the word, make sure it's on your calendar, and join us for that event. So if you look again at that calendar, you've got the upcoming Vision Tour events, October 15th in Front Royal, Virginia, hosted and led by Cynthia Sauer. Then the day after, the evening after that, is in Reston, Virginia, right up in the DC area, hosted and led by Lisa Turner. And so, I'll be there, Bill and Kim will be there, Ed and Gene will be there. So you've got these events that you can build toward. The 22nd, we're back for our second Vision Tour event in Charlotte, North Carolina. So here's the point. In order to stay plugged in, which we talk about every Saturday, and we're going to talk about a few minutes coming up this morning, it's important to know what to plug into. And especially if you're brand new, you're not going to know this without knowing it, without being shared from your upline success coaches, without plugging into company information, et cetera. So just want to make sure everyone knows the resources that are at your fingertips with that calendar that's in your back office. Okay, so our Saturday training, especially this Saturday training, I don't ever want the tone, the feel to be formal, like our Thursday night, it's not a presentation. It's more of, I always like to envision we're using technology, but what I candidly, I can see the participants. I can see we've got a ton of people on the phone, which is wonderful. But I see Cynthia and Donna Moore and Ed and Gina and Jerry and Maria and Mike Boston and others. And so what's interesting is I like to envision all of us sitting around a conference room table in very comfortable chairs with a dry erase board, and we're having a coaching session. That's what this is. And the only difference is, in a coaching session, we're too big to have everyone talk, but that's the only thing we're missing. So this is a nice format, and I want it to be comfortable. I want it to be relaxed. And here's the point. It's all about learning. In fact, I'm going to send a couple things in the chat before I am going to share a PowerPoint. But here's what's interesting. So today is all about learning. So I'm going to say learn. No matter where you are, if you're a brand new partner or if you're one of our top income earners, it's about progress, not perfection. It's about getting a little bit better. It's about incremental learning. Okay. And then we often share, just to give you context on your success journey with VNI, as you build your customer base, as you build your partner team, we want to learn some of the key fundamentals, and don't be overloaded. Just take a little bit at a time, baby steps. Then you want to apply what you've learned. There's a saying that knowledge equals power. And, it's a very valid point. You could say, you could substitute power for a word that might be a little more palatable. Knowledge equals, growth. Knowledge equals prosperity. Knowledge equals progress. And that's very true. But what's even more true is applied knowledge. Okay. So you've got to, if we just accumulate knowledge and keep it to ourselves, that's not the point. You want to take action. You want to apply what you've learned. So I want to make sure you take that down in notes. And I also want to back up half a step, mentioning all the wonderful partners that are plugged in over the phone. If you're plugged in over the phone because you're driving, if you're plugged in over the phone because you don't have good internet access to watch the video and the PowerPoint, if you're plugged in over the phone for any specific intentional reason, that's awesome. That's the beautiful thing about this platform, is people can plug in wherever they are, mobile. However, it's always better, if you can, to plug in via either a smartphone, tablet, or computer, laptop, PC with the webinar platform, so that you can see the PowerPoint content that's being pushed out. So I just want to put that little plug in. But again, we welcome everybody. That's the purpose of having the ability to dial in. The main reason I'm sharing that is from a leadership perspective. sometimes I've noticed, I've actually learned this last week, that a couple wonderful individuals and members of the team are dialing in by phone because their upline success coaches said, hey, join the conference call Saturday at 11. And when we think of conference calls, we think of, dialing in on a phone number instead of inviting them to plug into the webinar if possible, and being able to have the visual content as well. So just a little tip there. So we want to learn, then we want to apply what we learn, and then we want to teach others. So that's you want to be, and we want to be, as leaders and emerging leaders, we want to be a river, not a reservoir. Now that comes straight from John Maxwell, and I love that. I want you to think about that. I'm not sure where he got it. He might have come up with it himself. He's a best-selling author. But be a river, not a reservoir. And what we mean by that, and what he meant by that, is don't accumulate knowledge just for the sake of having knowledge. Accumulate knowledge so you can pass it through in the form of coaching, shepherding, mentoring your team. And that includes your customers. When you learn, you're able to pay that forward and add value in your customers' lives. And then certainly you're able to lead and develop and coach and encourage your partner team more effectively. So be a river. Think about it. A river, if I'm one point in the river, the water's flowing in and through me, and it's flowing on down. So I'm gathering knowledge and I'm paying it forward. All right. Versus a reservoir where you basically, like a pond, the water flows in and I'm not letting it out. I'm just keeping it to myself. Okay. Does that make sense? It's a great visual for what we want to do. So learn, apply, and teach. Now, I've got I was at a leadership development business function yesterday, and I thought about this as well. I love learn, apply, and teach. And I want all of you, whether you're brand new or whether you're one of our leaders, seasoned leaders with a big business, remember, learn, then apply. Nothing happens. Knowledge is really potential power, and it becomes powerful when you apply what you've learned. So learn, apply, and then teach others what you've learned. Pay it forward. But I was at a leadership development function yesterday, and I like that. Learn. For those on the phone, it says it's big, basically a big giant coin, for lack of a better description, almost a pendant that's designed to keep in your pocket. But it says learn, grow, and share. Learn, grow, and share. So I'm going to send that in the chat bar as well. I think I'm going to a couple comments I wanted to share on that. Learn, grow. Now that I broke it up. So anyway, learn, apply, teach is a wonderful concept to kind of give you context as you're moving forward in your success journey with VNI. But think about this: learn, grow, share. The more you learn, the learning creates personal and professional growth. And the more you grow, the more you're going to share, the more you have to share, the more effective you are at sharing, if that makes sense. So think about that: learn, grow, and share. So the point always for today's training, the point is always about learning. And it's not, again, if you're brand new, it's not designed to overload you. It's designed to help you make progress. It's about progress, not perfection. But learn, grow, share. The more we learn, the more we grow personally, professionally, more skills we acquire. And the more we grow personally and professionally, and the more skills we acquire, the more we have to share. Think about this: if I'm holding if I've got a glass that's probably 2/3 full, it's 100% full in attitude and optimism and expectancy and all the wonderful metaphorical lessons here. But if you ask for a glass of water, and or you came up and we were in the same room or same building or whatever, and you said, hey, can I, you had a cup, an empty cup. Can I have a sip of water? I'm really, really thirsty. And we were friends or family or whatever, and you didn't mind drinking after me. I would say, sure. And I would pour you some. But if my glass was empty, I've got nothing to share. So that's the purpose. And I know y'all get it, but it's the purpose of these Saturday trainings. It's the reason why Ed and Gina, they're plugged in. They all, even when they're not leading, they're plugged in. They're leading by example, but they're here. It's sometimes every time I listen to Ed or Gina or Cynthia or Ken Nasbitz or Mike Dannenberg or any other leader, I learn. And sometimes it's just one idea, one question, one thought. That's the key. So learn, apply what you've learned, teach others. Learn so that you'll grow, and then when you grow, you'll share. Okay, those are some opening comments. I want to just reaffirm the importance of the calendar as you're plugging into events. I want to reaffirm my promotion of the Monday night monthly product call with Bill Downs and Steve Kushner. And now I'm going to start my screen share, and we're going to go over some things that we have been working on over the last number of weeks. I'll tell you what's interesting. If you haven't watched in detail, play from the start. If you haven't watched in detail, Ed and Gina's training from last Saturday, or yours truly's training from the week before, I want to encourage you to put that on your to-do list. Ed and Gina's training last Saturday covered, I just want you to know that we're covering a lot of the core fundamentals, as I mentioned earlier, because they're that important. But there's also a lot of prayerful thought and consideration that's going into, all right, what does the team need right now? Where should we put the spotlight that will help our partners take their business to the next level? Okay. And so I want to just keep that in mind that for example, Ed and Gina, the day before, on Friday before last Saturday's call, they spent quite a bit of time planning, preparing. We had a couple conversations, but they put a lot of work into that content. And again, that content's there for you to learn. It's there for you to apply, and it's there for you to teach your team. Okay. Now, the other thing, one last plug on kind of context for what the purpose of this Saturday. Here's a question for you. And this is not designed for anything other than positive reinforcement. So here's the question. You're leading by example. All of you that are plugged into the call, plugged into this event, are leading by example, and that's so important. That's kind of the price of admission to build, to go executive manager, director, and beyond. You got to lead by example. You've got to do what you expect your people to do. Now, here's a question. How many of your partners that are engaged and have goals and want to build a business, have a vision, have a dream, a lot of the things that Mike Dannenberg talked about last Tuesday night, how many of your partners are plugged into this event? Okay, just a question. Now I want you to take your notes, draw a box, and if you don't know, guess how many of your partners. And again, this is not to be used as a club to beat yourself over the head. This is all about collaboration. Remember, we're all around the conference room table, like we talked about at the beginning of the event. It's about partnership, collaboration, brainstorming. So draw a little box on your notes, unless you're driving, and fill in the number of that box. How many partners, not that you just personally sponsored, but on your team, are plugged into this event? Now, follow-up question, and there's no room for, you got to guess, and then you take a guess, and if you don't know, that's a zero. So it's said differently, if Jeff Hooks is part of your team, and you don't know for a fact because you've talked to me or gotten confirmation or texted with me in the last 24 hours that I'm committed to be on the event, then count me as a goose egg. Okay? Because what I'm finding is, and this is, I've been there myself, part of the leadership journey is we make assumptions or we hope. And while hope is a wonderful way to encourage and build belief, hope is not a good strategy when it comes to really focusing on your business. You don't want to hope that your people are there. You want to be very intentional and promote the event, make sure that they know how important it is, and that I know how important it is to plug into this event to learn, so that I can grow, so that I can have more to share, so that I can learn and then apply what I've learned and teach others. Okay? So from a leadership perspective, imagine, now I want to take you to a different place. So be an honest assessment of where we are right now. How many people on your team are plugged into this event live? But we don't use that to make ourselves be discouraged. It's the exact opposite. Next Saturday, how many of your partners do you want to be plugged into the live event? What about a year from now? Think about how powerful this is. Think about a vision casting, a forward vision of where you can build this. And you absolutely can. If others can do it, you can do it. But what if 1 year from now, you've got 100 people, 100 partners, active builders plugged into the live event that our leadership, it likely will not be me, but one of our leaders, and it might be you. You're leading the Saturday partner training, and you've got 100 partners on your business active on a Saturday morning plugged into this event, learning and growing so they have more to share. How powerful would that be? And where would your business be? I mean, what would your pin level be? In order to have 100 people, I'm telling you, you're going to be vice president to envoy or beyond to have that kind of participation. Okay, because that's where we're going. We're having more and more participation. So use that. Say, okay, where am I right now? Honest assessment. Where do I want to go? And use that vision of where you want to go as to pull you forward with excitement, with encouragement, because you can do this. And I know it from my own experience. You can do this, and you've got an amazing team, and all the resources are in place to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. So we're going to talk in the context. The entire training, the rest of the morning, is going to be in the context of recognizing how powerful. I'm opening my app, in case you're wondering what I'm doing. How powerful the VNI Life app is. Okay, and this resource. By the way, I want to teach you one thing. I think you know. You can every time you log in. That's not what I meant to do. See, I can show you this. You pull down 2 fingers on the top with at least with Apple. You pull down. I'm trying to show you. There we go, and it refreshes. See, now it just refreshed. So that means all the content, all the new content that our marketing team uploaded is automatically uploaded on your app. So you just take with Apple iOS, I'm not sure what it is with Android, but it's all been in the trainings. But it's a little tip: just pull down, and then all the new content loads, which includes, by the way, all the event flyers. Look at this. I want to just show you a couple things. All the event flyers for our upcoming. Looks like it's pretty bright. I don't know why. All the event flyers for our upcoming vision tour. There we go. It's my MacBook Air. It's not showing very clear. Anyway, all the events for the upcoming events, the vision tour events, the audio. Okay, you click on the audio section, and you've got the monthly kickoff call from this past Tuesday night. So it's right there, not only for you to listen to, but also for you to share with your team. Or anyone that you want to listen. So it's all right here. So I just want you to continue to realize that this tool, we have invested significant time, effort, and capital in giving you the best tool for sharing on the planet. And we want you to learn how to use it. We want you to apply what you've learned, and I want you to teach others to do the same, because this is a game changer. When you combine this with the marketing website and the back office that you've already got, some of the new specific tools, the new videos, we've got a new video coming out on the GARS Restoragen that'll be out in the next couple of weeks. And we've got a lot of exciting things happening. And the VNI Life app is the platform that makes sharing so easy. So wanted to put that plug in. So it's your key to growth, and it's your key to sharing. And we're going to talk more about that as we move forward this morning. Okay. A couple principles that we covered. I'm going to go pretty quickly on these. Sometimes we go a little bit deeper, but I'm going to go pretty quickly. So this is kind of, think of this as, I've often said, ingredients to success in some different trainings, but the importance of staying plugged in. I can't tell you how important this is. I mean, it's however important you think it is. I'm sorry, I got a little frog in my throat. No matter how important you think it is, it's more important. It's more, for those that, and all of you wouldn't be on this, you wouldn't be taking your precious Saturday time. Every one of us is busy. We've all got priorities. We've all got other things we could do. In some cases, when you're committed to something, you do the thing, even when there are other things you would prefer to do that would be easier or more relaxing, like taking a nap or reading a book or taking a walk. And I want you to do all those. But the fact that you've committed your time to come in shows that you understand the importance of staying plugged in today. Now, here's the key. In order to scale your business, in order to grow and duplicate your efforts from a partner building perspective. Now, with customers, this doesn't apply. You could go out, you could share and care with a smile on your face, love in your heart, put these products out every day, build an amazing customer base, earn a beautiful recurring income, and never build a partner team. But you're really not going to go, even if you're a healthcare practitioner or an overachiever, in most cases, you're not going to go beyond executive manager. One exception, Mike Dannenberg, one exception so far, let's call it director. You can go director on a customer base. Conceptually, you can go executive director, but it's going to be pretty tough. But if you're an overachiever and you put dozens and dozens and dozens of customers in the business, you can go director. But if your goal and earn a very nice income as a paid as director. But if you aspire for something more along full-time income, what I would consider, most people would consider full-time income, then you got to set your sights to director and north of director and build a partner team. So in order to create that kind of growth, you need to stay plugged in and you need to have your team plug in. That's why I asked you that question, how many of your partners are on this call? That's not a club to beat yourself over the head and not feel good about it. That lets you know where you need to go. And we'll help you get there. That's what this is all about. It's about learning. So it's the importance of staying plugged in, and then the importance of doing something positive every day to build and grow your V&I business. Doing something positive every day. It might be inviting one person to learn about V&I and sharing a video with your V&I Life app. It might be at a social function where you have a few friends over and you invite somebody to take a sample of a Protivite moment and you let them taste the product. So you share the product through a tasting, and then you share the information with your V&I Life app. But the key is do something positive to grow your V&I business every day. Here's the message. Don't confuse activity with productivity. You could stay in your back office. You could study the V&I Life app, and you want to get comfortable with it. You want to go through the trainings. Y'all, hold one second. I'm going to got a frog in my throat. I've talked for about 2 hours this morning. I'm sharing the PowerPoint, so I can't mute, so I'm going to have to try to be careful. All right. Forgive Hookster's frog. All right. Doing something positive every day does not mean studying the ingredients on the products. I'm trying to think of some real life examples. That might be important to you. That's okay. But when we say do something positive every day, that's something that will grow your business. So that's sharing. It's tied to sharing activity. So I want you to write that down. Doing something positive every day, something, activity that counts, activity that's productivity, is all tied to sharing. Either your own personal sharing, this is what I wanted you to write down. It's either your own personal sharing or it's helping your team share. Okay? So one of your partners calls you and says, hey, will you do a 3-way call? I've used my V&I Life app. I pushed out a video. The individual's open for more information, and I want to put them on the phone with you. Okay, that is absolutely productive. And just so you know, when I'm sharing screen, I've got some people chatting with me. I can't see what you're sending. So next, take responsibility for your business. That's so important. Take responsibility for your business and for your results. One of the key fundamentals, even on a part-time basis, is to have a mindset that I am responsible. Be your own CEO of your V&I business. If it is to be, It's up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. Okay. My VNI business is growing because of me, or my VNI business is not growing because of me, but I'm going to make some changes and I'm going to fix that. I'm going to stay plugged in. I'm going to do something positive every day that has to do with sharing activity. And we're going to get things. It's going to be a great week. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great weekend. So it's a mindset, the responsibility mindset. And I want you to understand, this is not the normal mindset for human beings. One of my first mentors in business used to say, successful people, successful people focus on where they want to go and how to get there. I'll say that one more time. This is a mentor mindset. Successful, effective leaders focus on where they want to go and how to get there. Unsuccessful people focus on making excuses, what they don't want to have happen. They're focusing on what they don't want to have happen, obstacles, barriers, impediments, and who's to blame. And we all do that. I'm not like wagging. If there's a finger wagging, it's I do the same thing. A finger's pointing at me. So we all do that. We have to be careful. So the correction for that is, or the remedy, better word. The remedy for that is to focus. I am responsible. I am responsible. If you catch yourself starting to have a negative mindset, well, something's not exactly like I wanted. I wish, when in the VNI Life app, they've got events above PDFs for customers. I wish they had, PDFs for customers above events, or they've got they've got something that's blue and I wish it were orange, or, don't allow your brain to be distracted by non-productive nonsense. And I'm not saying every concern is nonsense, but it's amazing. And I'm speaking from personal experience. If you're not intentional with your focus as human beings, and that's a whole nother conversation, we all will focus on avoiding risk. That's that instead of playing offense, we focus on defense. And so don't do that. Take responsibility for your business. If it is to be, it's up to me. Now, next, why is this not going? There we go. Commit to personal growth. And we've already talked about that. But if you want to go to the next level, grow to the next level. That's why we do this every single Saturday. Leadership. One of the challenges of leadership, and this is all tied together, is we must first learn to lead ourselves. Jim Rohn used to say, leader of one, leader of many. If you can't lead one, you can't lead any. Okay, so that one is us. The more we learn and grow, the more we have to share as a leader. So leadership begins with, and it's a process. It's all happening at the same time, by the way. It's all happening at the same time. But the more, and here's what's exciting. I hope this is exciting for all of you. Is our capacity, no matter what our background is, we all have different giftings and abilities. We all have different challenges with managing our gray matter between our ears, our focus. No matter where we come from, we all have the capacity to learn and grow and improve. And that's the kind of culture that we are creating with intent with VNI. And that's the kind I want to encourage you. That's the kind of culture you should build within your own VNI team. A culture of learning and growth and celebrating progress and not being afraid of mistakes. A lot of people make mistakes and it's devastating. Like we're supposed to be perfect, like any one of us is supposed to be perfect. I'm a person of faith. There's only one person that walked the earth, and that's Jesus, that was perfect. We all are but that's okay. We want to give ourselves grace. We want to give ourselves and give each other grace. And that's not an excuse to keep making the same mistake. If it's, especially if it's something that's not respecting another human being. But the bottom line is, when it comes to building your VNI business, we all have the capacity for growth. And I hope that's exciting. We all have I just read this morning, and I've shared this before. Look how thin this book is. This is to me is about, when I go through it now in about, because I go through different highlighted sections, but it takes me about 45 minutes, but it's an old book. It's a classic, The Art of Dealing with People by Les Giblin, Giblin, The Art of Dealing with People. Easy read. Any one of us could read it in a couple hours, 2-3 hours, depending on how carefully you read it, how you highlight. But it is amazing. It's an amazing book that has to do with interacting and dealing with people and with specific transferable skills that you can learn, that you can apply, and you can teach others. Okay, so again, that's an example of, in that example, me working on my leadership, and that's what I want us to all do. Each time, remember, leadership tip, and then we're going to move on. Each time you connect or interact with one of your customers or one of your partners, recognize it's an opportunity to encourage, an opportunity to encourage the use of the product if it's a customer, opportunity to encourage the partner for taking a positive step. Maybe they use the VNI Life app for the first time and they shared a video and they followed up and now they're setting up a 3-way call with you. Whatever it is, use it. It could be a text, could be an email, but look at every interaction with your customers or partners as an opportunity to encourage and an opportunity to build belief. I'll share with you from my experience, I remind myself of that. And sometimes in a busy day, if you've got one of your partners that's calling you and maybe the question in your mind is not necessarily the most important question to focus on, people do that. Just remember, hey, this is, and I'm speaking from experience because sometimes it can be frustrating, but just remind yourself, this is an opportunity for me to encourage this precious human being that God's put in my team. And it's an opportunity to build belief and help them shape their focus. So maybe if they're focusing in the weeds on little things like one specific ingredient on the Restoragen product, and instead of pick up the phone, call somebody, use the VNI Life app and share the product, share VNI with somebody new. So again, the challenge for all of us from a leadership perspective is, are we focusing on the right thing? Are we focusing on the right thing? So ask yourself, in the last week, how many, and then let's have just a fun little exercise here. So think about in the last week, how many hours would you say, and this is just nobody can see. So, but it's an important leadership exercise in terms of leading yourself, managing your focus. How many hours would you say you've put in your VNI business in the last 7 days? Think about that. How many hours? So just draw another box, put a number in the box, and there's no room in that box for an explanation. Just be real. It's all good. What's the number? Is it 1 hour? Is it 5 hours? Is it 20 hours? If it's Ed and Gina, is it more than 40 hours? Or anything in between. Now, take that number. What percentage of that number was spent in, and I want you to write this question down because this is a great leadership. These are tips for how you can lead and encourage and coach your team. How many of those hours in the last week that you spent with your VNI business have been spent with sharing activity? Either your own personal sharing activity or supporting and working with your team in their sharing activity. So that's the invite, share, follow up. That's the sharing. That's the pattern of activity, the pattern of sharing activity. Invite, share, follow up, rinse and repeat. Invite, share, follow up, rinse and repeat. Say less to more people. We talk about these tips all the time. So so think about that percentage. Now ask yourself, is that in alignment with your vision? You could go another step further just to give you a couple leadership ideas. So you ask yourself, how many hours did I put in my VNI business in the last week? How much of that time was spent with actual sharing activity? Okay, for myself and or my team. You're at what I call point of share. Break that down one more step. How many new people were you actively involved in sharing activity with? So your personal contacts. So that means if you shared with 5 people last week, or 2 people, or 10 people, and then you did 3-way calls with 5 of your partners, and you did a sit-down coffee meeting with another, add all those up. How many unique individuals were you involved in the sharing activity with? And look at that number. And then here's the challenge for this upcoming week. Double that number. Double that number in the next 7 days and see what happens to your business. I want you to think about that because again, a lot of times, and I'm even talking leaders, it's amazing the amount of hours and hours and hours that we spend on things that are not productive. And we're doing it, in a lot of cases, we're doing it because we love people. But if you're focused on, we have a leader who is an amazing leader, this individual, who has invested probably 70 hours in helping one of their partners because they love them, because they're mentoring them, because they care. Spent probably 60 or 70 hours in the last month helping that partner with a potential legal issue that has to do with business. You can't afford to do that. That's not productive. That partner needs to get an attorney. That's about taking responsibility for your own business. And it's not your responsibility to pretend to be junior lawyer. Okay, so that's one example. And I don't want to step on any toes, but I'm giving you an example of the things we focus on and we think, hey, this is my leadership role with the V&I business. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. No, it's not. It's absolutely not. You want to encourage, you want to build belief, and you want to help your team grow their V&I business. There are other areas of life. I don't expect you, as my upline success coach, to be my pastor, even though I want you praying for me. I don't expect you to be my auto mechanic, even though you might know a good one. I don't expect you to be to put a deck on my back of my house, even though you might be a good handyman. We can't take responsibility for all of our, leadership is not taking responsibility for every life activity of everybody in your business. Does that make sense? So the idea is help your team over time focus on those few things that will help them grow their business. And don't take responsibility. Each one of us needs to look at number 3 above. Each one of us needs to take responsibility for our own business. Okay? That's the recipe for success. Now, we're going to skip through vision questions. Mike Dannenberg did an amazing job on this on Tuesday night. But you want to have a vision. Where do you want to go, and why do you want to get there? And then what's holding you back? What's holding you back? What plans can you put in place? Knowing your tendencies, knowing the way you have lived life. What are some people are procrastinators. That's something that I've, especially the first half of my adult life, had to work through. If it was productive business building activity, that went to the top of the list. Accounting and other things that weren't as much fun, I procrastinated. So I had to put a plan in place to address that. So you think about that. What's holding you back in the area of your vision? Have you taken the time to write it down? Have you taken the time to write down your vision? And y'all listen, Mike Dannenberg gave some great tips. I know I'm keep putting a plug in, but last Tuesday, listen to that replay if you missed it, and think about the idea of vision questions. Dream big dreams. Where do you want to go? That's the key. Now then, recognize that in order for your vision or dream to be a reality, it's all about your share activity. It's all about how many new people you're sharing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and how many people your team, as an organization, how many new people you are learning about the amazing V&I products. Unprecedented scientific validation. We've got all. So I just want you to understand. I'm saying share activity 100 different ways to make sure we understand, because this comes from experience. I know from experience that if we're not intentional with our focus, we're going to focus on everything but sharing activity. And we're going to kid ourselves as human beings that we're being productive. It's so easy to share now with the V&I Life app. But like Jim Rohn always said, the things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. So we've got a training that's on your V&I Life app, how to share part 1, 2, and 3. Part 1 is never run out of people to share with. Part 2 is how do you share, and part 3 is the follow-up. It's all right there. Remember, sharing activity is impact activity. Be intentional with your sharing. Share with a purpose. It's a sorting process, not a convincing process. Okay? I'm not going to go too deep here because we've talked about that already in a couple different ways. We're looking for people that are looking for better health physically, better health financially. So we're looking for people that want more out of life, that want some positive change. And we're looking for people that have a need or desire. Okay? And just so you know, that's not always, and this is for some of our wonderful healthcare practitioners and long-term partners, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean when we say we're looking for people with a need or desire with regards to the products, for example, that doesn't mean we're looking for people that we're not, we're not saying, okay, who's the most unhealthy person you know and let's help with these products. The healthiest people you know need help with our products because they want to stay that way, or they've got things going on that haven't presented themselves yet inside at a cellular level in their blood and in their, in the inside that's, a mentor of mine used to say you can't feel prevention. So everyone needs these products. So we're looking for people that have it. It's a key is we sort, put it this way, I'm trying to speed up. We sort and we're looking for people that recognize, you know what? My health is a priority. I need to protect it. I'm going to engage with the VNI products. Okay. Or I'm a committed athlete. I'm a weekend warrior, or I need to lose weight. I need to get healthier. My body's starting to break down. I mean, whatever it is, but their health is a priority, and they know either because of need or desire that they want to do something better for their bodies. Okay, does that make sense? All right. Say less to more people. That's so important. Remember the activity, the exercise that we just went through. How many hours did you spend the last week? How much of that time was spent in share activity? Okay, or sharing activity. And then what that translates to how many people you were personally involved in helping learn about the VNI products or learn about the VNI business. Okay, so say less to more people. The mistake that I know I've made in my career, and the mistake I see a lot of people make, is they get one or two individuals that are actively looking at the VNI products and the VNI model, and they keep recycling and circling those two individuals for 1, 2, or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, hoping that they engage. Sometimes they place a product order. Sometimes they might have an interest in the product and the business, but you don't want to make your whole business dependent on 1 or 2 individuals. Say less to more people. Okay. Now, sharing tool resources, and this is what we're going to wrap up with for now. And I'm going to go ahead and go through all these. Let's see here. Whoops. There we go. All right. Remember, what are the tools that are at your fingertips for the share activity? What are the tools that are at your fingertips? All right. You've got the VNI Life app. That's the most powerful platform that we have that aggregates, that pulls together all of the resources that you need to build an empire with VNI, to bless the world with this mission. Okay? It's all about contribution. It's all about sharing and caring. And the VNI Life app is the platform that allows you to do that. Now, within the VNI Life app, there are videos on the products. There's videos there's videos on and other content, PDFs, et cetera. But the videos, the 5-minute science video is the most shared tool that we have in the first 5.5 full weeks, if you will, of the VNI Life app. And that tool is getting amazing results. That's the initial share tool. Now remember, we're not going to get into this today. Some of the other training content that I've already referenced today, we talk about the fact that the sharing, the invite, share, follow up, it's a process. So you might share one video, the 5-minute product science video. Don't overload people. That's why at the very bottom, when I say less is more effective. If you're torn between sharing just one thing or 2 or 3 or 4 things of content, share just one. and then follow up in a timely manner. And then you're moving that individual to a good yes or a good no based on their interest level, based on their timing. But we've got videos, we've got Zoom presentations. Bill and I did a presentation. We had great attendance Thursday night. Bill Downs, if you brand new, obviously our founder and CEO, he and I did a presentation on both the products and the business. We did it live, and it's recorded, and it's in your VNI Life app. So that's a wonderful, what I'll share with you, the Zoom presentations. It's a great first exposure if you've got somebody that's really interested, but it is a wonderful follow-up exposure. So you might, invite someone to learn about VNI. You use the VNI Life app and you share the 5-minute product science video. Then you follow up, invite, share, follow up. And then they're open for more information. Okay, they're open for more information, and you forward them using the VNI Life app. You forward them the product and business overview presentation, maybe that Bill and I did either last week or a few weeks ago, or you use the one that Bill did with Ed and Gina, or you do use the one that I did with Ken Nasmitz. It doesn't matter. Whatever, pick a Zoom presentation. That's a wonderful follow-up that goes a little bit deeper. Okay, we've got product brochures. We've got the shorts. You could, if you feel like intuition-wise somebody's got a short attention span, then you need to. And I know I'm clearing my throat, y'all. I'm sorry. I've talked probably 60 hours nonstop in the last 6 days. I probably need to rest my voice. And I'm getting text messages or chats. So it's probably some coaching on my voice. But anyway, hang with me. Sorry about that. What I was going to say is, you might say, you know what? I'm not going to overload. I'm going to keep it real simple. I'm going to forward the 1 minute, 1.5 minute Protovite video. And that might be your initial exposure. But the idea is, look at the bottom again, less is more. You want to use the tools and don't overload people. Because here's the key. A confused mind does nothing. An overloaded mind does nothing. You want to keep it simple based on their interest level and based on their engagement. It's better to give them too little than too much. Trust me on that. I promise you. Ask Ed or Gina that. I've asked some of the other leaders. That's so true. Now, we've got, as I mentioned, we've got the product brochures, conference calls, recorded calls. We've got the marketing website. And again, every time you share information, visit websites right there on the action panel. That's there for you. So we've got launch events. You do an individual Zoom or an in-person event. That's a wonderful way to share, is pull 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever the number is into a private Zoom presentation to kick off a new partner's event or an in-person event. We've got some partners that are scheduling that. I will tell you, one of the ways I'm gonna look into your eyes. For those of you that are on the phone, you just have to listen. One of the ways you can grow faster is every time you have a new partner that joins your team, and he or she has a goal, they have a vision, they want to engage in this mission and not play around with it. Schedule 2 launch events. I challenge, with love and respect, any one of you to put this plan to work. When you sponsor a new partner that wants to build a business, have he or she literally, and I'll help you. I'll help you through this. Schedule 2 launch events. One, 3 or 4 or 5 days, or no more than a week after they just come on board. And then another one a week after that. Schedule 2 launch events. They could either be in person, or you can be using the Zoom platform. It can be digital, it can be remote. Doesn't matter, either one. And watch how fast they get off to a good start. I'm just telling you, this was, I've had people ask me, from some of the results I've been blessed with through my career. I'll tell you, the launch event was one of the key building blocks of everything that I was able to create. And we didn't have anything like the VNI products, the VNI leadership, the VNI owners, the tools, the VNI Life app, the videos. I didn't have any of this stuff. But the launch event strategy, I could spend an entire 30 minutes on the launch event strategy. And if any of you are interested in that, just call me and we'll schedule something for next week. But I promise you, if you incorporate the launch event strategy with your new partners, and the idea is Jeff Hooks is a brand new partner in your business. You open your calendar. You have a strategy session with me for 30 to 45 minutes. Help me define what I want. Help me go through my contact list, prioritize that. And then we put my share plan in place. Say, okay, Jeff, open up your calendar. Open up your calendar. And you say, okay, Jeff, what does your schedule look like next Tuesday? Today's Saturday, Tuesday, or even Thursday. And you schedule my first launch event. And then at the same time, we schedule a week after that, the second launch event. And then I start building towards that. Invite, share, point them to the event. Invite, share, point them to the event, the launch event. Invite, share, point them to the launch event. You will be amazed. Cynthia Sauer says this in a lot of her trainings. It's easier to grow fast, even part-time. It's easier to grow fast with your V&I business than it is to grow slow. Because once you've created some forward momentum, it's like, picture this, picture a tire. I know that not all of you handle tires, but picture a tire. If it's a mounted tire, like a truck tire, it's going to be really heavy. A mounted truck tire weighs over 300 pounds. But it's really hard to get up. It's really hard to get moving. But once it's moving, and there's physics of a body that gets in motion, remains in motion, something like that. I was there for that day. But anyway, the idea is once it gets moving, it's easy to pick up speed. In fact, it's actually hard to stop. That's the whole idea of momentum, overcoming inertia. Scheduling launch events, 2 launch events for a brand new partner within their first couple of weeks will absolutely overcome inertia and create forward momentum that will carry forward. So that's a little bit on the launch events as we head down the home stretch. Special events like the V&I Vision Tour events coming up, a wonderful opportunity, even if you're not in those cities, to build by playing who do you know with your team. Go through your social media, go through your contact list in your phone. Who do I know in the Virginia area? Who do I know in Charlotte, North Carolina? Who do I know? And invite them. Invite, share, follow up long distance, and let us provide the presentation. That's the power of special events like the Vision Tour events. And then, of course, you've got your upline success coach to help you as a sharing resource, whether it be meetings, individual meetings, conference calls, private Zooms with your prospects, or 3-way calls as part of the follow-up. Okay? So remember, less is more, but it all comes down to sharing activity. All comes down to sharing activity. Now, thank you, Maria. I will. Yeah, Maria said gargle with Prodivite after the meeting. Absolutely, I will. Thank you. All right. I'm looking at the chats real quick before we wrap up, so stay with me. Yeah. So this training. I think you all know about the resources that we've gone over. You all know the marketing website. You all know about vniscience.com. I mean, but at the end of the day, the sharing activity, I know that you have and that your team has, that's going to create the growth. So make sure that's where your focus is. Make sure that's where your encouragement is. Make sure that's where, with your goal setting for yourself and your team, it comes down to this. All right, between now and next Saturday's partner training, how many new people am I going to share the V&I products and the V&I story with? And folks, here's the key. I'm asked this a lot of times, and I want you to understand. I consider a serious builder, and this is not judgmental, it's just truth. As leaders, you have to understand who's really all in and who's maybe kind of dabbling and who's not serious. And it's okay. The V&I family, we want everybody to be blessed by these products. Everyone that takes them is going to be blessed. Just like Maria said, I'm going to be gargling Prodivite in less than 5 minutes. and she's absolutely right. The key is we have to say, what are my goals? What is it that I want to achieve with my VNI business for myself and my family? What is it? What I want? And then you have to make sure that your commitment level is consistent with that vision. And if it's not, you got to either lower your vision in terms of what you want to create or increase your commitment level. Does that make sense? And I think too many times people are operating kind of unconsciously where there's a big gap, there's a big delta between what they believe they want to accomplish and what they think it's going to take to get it done. And so I consider a serious, really even, and this gets more towards full-time, but a full-time leader in terms of their personal exposure activity is going to be sharing 5 to 8 per day, particularly in the first year or two of their journey. 5 to 8 unique shares a day, plus helping their team support. That's full-time. A very serious part-time is going to be 3 to 5 a day. Okay, 3 to 5 share, and I'm talking 5 to 6 days a week. Okay, a engaged part-time is going to be 1 or 2 a day. Okay, and and anything less than 1 a day, once a week, is okay. That's what I call a product advocate, and that's great. But a product advocate is going to bring maybe 1 customer on a month, or with their team, they're going to. It's just a different pace, and they're all, just so you know, as a company, we're committed to all of the above. Our goal is to help you reach your goals. But from a leadership perspective in this partner training, what I want to close with is the commitment level and the sharing activity has to be in alignment with the vision and the dream and the goal. And if they're not, we don't want you kidding yourself. We don't want you to, sometimes people set themselves up for disappointment. And it's because they were simply delusional in from the very beginning. They were thinking, okay, I can share, VNI with 4 people a month and I can be, director in 2 months. And that's not going to happen. And so it's just real important that for us, when you're leading yourself and you're coaching your team, always looking to encourage and always looking to build belief. But at the same time, we want to make sure people are grounded in, and here's the key. It's all, I'm going to send this in the chat bar. It's all about making sure that everyone, yourself included, is set up for success. That's what it's about. That's what this is all about. Again, encouraging and building belief, but making sure that, hey, my share activity, if I say I want to go crown ambassador from scratch in 3 or 4 years, and Ed and Gina Bender will be the first to tell you, when they first started, some of the early partners that just engaged and helped Bill and Kim Downs launch this amazing company, including Abner Fisher and Stanley Schrock and others that were there at the very beginning. And I don't want to leave anybody out, but there were a lot. The roads weren't paved. We had an amazing product, but the roads weren't paved. I mean, a lot of people think, well, pioneers, sure, you're having success. You were there at the very beginning. Folks, the very beginning is not glamorous. In case you're wondering, the very beginning looks and feels a whole lot like work. It's never been easier. Here's the point. Ed and Gina tell you this all the time. It's never, ever, ever, ever been easier. Yeah, Bill just sent in the chat bar. The company didn't even have brochures. All you could do was pour the product and say, hey, taste this, and then talk about it, or put them on the phone with Bill or one of the leaders, Ed or Gina or whoever. And so there's never been a better time to share and build the VNI business and mission than today. And so if your goal is, hey, I want to go crown ambassador, we're going to have people go to pin levels faster than ever before. If you take pre-launch out, Mike and Heather Dannenberg going director part-time from 0 to director in 60 days, it's amazing. Folks, we're gonna have more and more of that because we've got all the resources in place, all the tools that help you share the story, the platform, the VNI Life app, the coaching, the leadership, the calls, the Zoom presentations, all of it's there. And we're going to continue to make progress. We're never on the corporate side supporting you, equipping and empowering you and your team. We're never saying, hey, we're done. We're perfect. Absolutely not. There's always room for progress. And we make mistakes every day. and we own up to the mistakes, we correct them, and we move forward. And that's what we want. That's what we do with y'all in terms of collaboration and partnership. The corporate team, the partner leadership team, we're on this mission together, and it's a team sport. And so make sure, again, said one more time, that your commitment level and your engagement, what is your share goal between now and next week? What is your share goal per day between now and the end of October? Take advantage of that new promo. Earn double the rank maintenance bonus. Earn the $100 bonus every time you have a partner earn the first installment of a rank maintenance bonus. $100 every time. Every single one of you on this event live has the opportunity to put an extra $300, $400, $500, $1,000 in your pocket above and beyond the compensation plan in the next 90 days if you went for it. If you said, you know what, no excuses, I'm taking responsibility, commitment level's high, my sharing activity goal is this, and I'm going to start doing launch events with my new partners, let's go. Everyone, remember, things that are easy to do are easy not to do. And I want you to understand, you can raise the bar in your own V&I business from you get out of your comfort zone, turn it up a notch, because I promise you that's what we're doing. Bill and Kim and I are spending hours. Ed and Gina and I had a working lunch earlier this past week. We're all working on raising the bar. We're all focused on learning and growing so that we increase our ability to share and make contribution to the world. And we want you to do the same thing. So I hope this has been helpful. Have an awesome Saturday, a great weekend. Go out there and share and care. And God bless you. Join us Monday night, 9 o'clock. Bill Downs, Steve Kushner, and little old me as the host. And we're going to have an amazing call. So talk to you soon. Have a great weekend. God bless. Bye-bye.